Well, hello there. I had a little trouble getting online here. Sorry about that, folks. Things didn't go quite as smoothly as I had hoped. And I'm trying to get myself set up here. As you can see, here we go. All right. Yeah. So, welcome to Sundays with Silvers. I'm a little bit behind, 5 minutes behind today. Uh, Sorry about that. I'm still trying to work out the kinks and the bugs. Let me get my background together here. All right. Looking good, looking good, looking good. I'll figure all this out at some point. But it's great to have you here. Wonderful to have you here. And just so happy to be able to share music with you and some stories from my life. A little bit out of focus here. So let's see. We'll put my guitar up there. Maybe focus on that. Well, anyway, hey, there we go. So good to see everybody. Wonderful to be here with you and to share some music and some stories. Uh, we have a big event happening tomorrow, as you know, which is a new president being sworn in. This is something that maybe some people are happy about, some people are not so happy about. All I can say is it's going to be interesting. That's for sure. And it's interesting that he's being sworn in. This is Mr. Trump. He'll get sworn in on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, which I find quite ironic, to be honest with you, because he's not necessarily known for his love of I guess people of color, or at least his. Oh wow, I'm really kind of messing up here. Yeah, he's not necessarily known for his embracing of people of color, immigrants, or any of that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that he's going to be, sworn in on that day of all days. So I'm going to do a song that I wrote for my mom after she passed away. I come from a mixed racial heritage, and my father was black. He was actually worked with Martin Luther King Jr. In the '60s because my dad was the LA chapter leader of CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, and so in 1964, CORE was doing things like sending in a black couple to a neighborhood to rent an apartment, and they would be told that there was no apartment available, and then they would leave, and then CORE would send in a white couple, and they would be offered an apartment or a house or whatever to rent. And so then CORE would sue the landlords or the owners of the property for discrimination. And Dr. King really thought that was a good program and a good way to kind of use the powers that we have to make change, and that was something that he definitely a program that he approved of, and so he came here to Los Angeles in 1964. I believe I was 2 years old, and my dad was the one that showed him through Los Angeles. And my parents got married, and I wrote a song after. Well, they were married for a long time, but then they became divorced. But after my dad passed away, my mom passed away not that long after that, and she never really got over the divorce, never really got over my dad. And so I wrote this song. I wrote it in part because I saw that my mom always wanted some kind of connection to my dad that she wasn't really getting, and I would see this look in her eyes, like in this wish to be more connected to him, and it just wasn't there for her with him. And I saw that look in my I almost had a Freudian slip there. I saw that look in my wife's eyes at one point, kind of regarding my relationship with my wife, and I realized that I had to rethink not only my relationship to my wife, but my mom's relationship to my dad. It was important for me to rethink that whole thing and kind of have a different take on it. So I wrote a song for my mom. I may have played it before, but I'm going to do it again in honor of my mom and my dad and their activities as civil rights leaders. And it's called Love is Thicker Than Blood. A little girl came from Coney Island when her father passed away, left a part of herself across the country, and arrived in East LA. It was the year that she was turning 7, and her mother bought the corner store. There she lived with her brother just above it, but her heart was on the eastern shore. They say blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water. They say blood is thicker than water. But she found out that love is thicker than blood. She grew to be a stunning beauty with eyes of emerald green. And whenever she went down a city sidewalk, it would always cause a scene. And then one day she met her true love. He was tall with skin of brown, and when they wed, her mother soon disowned her and told her never again to come around. They say blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker than water. They say blood is thicker than water. Oh, but she found out that love is thicker than blood. They had 2 boys before he left her for another. She lost her husband like her father and her mother, but still she loved him so, she never let him go. And though it broke her heart to lose her lover, she just thought about her boys and put one foot before the other. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. You might think, with all the dreams that shattered, she would never trust the world again. But in the end, because it really mattered, her lover came back to be her friend. And the one who one day had disowned her was forgiven for what she did not know. That love comes in every color, and it always finds a way to grow. They say blood is thicker than water. Blood is thicker Ah, but she found out that love is thicker than blood. Love is thicker than blood. Love is thicker than blood. They say that blood is thicker than water. But love is thicker than blood. Love is thicker than blood. Love is thicker than blood. They say that blood is thicker than water. But love is thicker than blood. As for you, Mom, Trudy Silvers, beautiful person, beautiful woman, big heart. Married a man, a black man, when she was white in the 1950s. Took a lot of courage for both of them. But hey, I'm grateful or I wouldn't be here. So thank you for that, Mom. You know, as I was saying, it's an interesting time. I don't need to tell you that with all the wildfires and going on here in Los Angeles. They're almost out, but so many people I know have, really had just devastating loss of homes and loss of life, and it's just really tragic. And Sometimes I've heard people say things like, "Wow, how can there really be a God? If how can God let these kinds of things happen if there is a God?" And I didn't grow up necessarily believing in God. I was an agnostic, which I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that there was such a thing. I called myself an atheist, and I did so because my parents were atheists. So I just said, okay, well, you kind of do that, right? When you're a kid, you kind of like don't really always know what to think, so you just kind of believe what your parents believe. But there was a part of me that always kind of wondered, like, well, maybe there really is God. So I was really of an agnostic than an atheist. And I remember a close family friend at one point. Um, he was in the hospital. He had a kind of tragic fall, and he was in a coma. And I went to go visit him, and I wanted to just do anything I could to try to help him come back. And he ultimately, unfortunately, didn't. Um, but while he was in the hospital, before he passed, I ended up. Um, well, I prayed. I got down on my knees and I prayed. And I said, if this is a beautiful man. If you can do anything at all to save his life, please do. And I prayed to God. And the next morning, he opened his eyes and looked up at his daughter who was visiting him. Um, and so that was a miracle because that's the only time he ever opened his eyes from when he went into the coma to the time he passed. So I felt like, wow, that's a sign to me. So I ended up writing a song. It's called "Here and Everywhere," and I think it's apropos now because um, you know there's a lot of people that have gone through a lot recently, as I mentioned, with the fires and everything, and I think that we can wonder where's God in all of this. And we're seeing people step up and really be there for each other in ways that, unfortunately, sometimes it takes tragedies to make that happen. But this song is called "Here and Everywhere." It goes like this. When I was 10, I had a fight with a boy from down the block. He said I would go to hell because I did not believe in God. But I thought, how can I believe in a thing I cannot see? And if it's true that God is here, why does it bring so much fear? When I was 12, I loved to sing, so I joined a Sunday choir. I learned one important thing. Genuflecting was required. The moment I refused to kneel was not sacrilegious zeal. I just didn't want to do anything I did not feel. But then one desperate night I found myself in prayer, saying, "Okay, God, if you are really there, show you care." And God appeared everywhere, people smiling and people sharing, people loving and people caring for each other, people baring their hearts to one another. That's all I ever needed to see, for God to be real to me. It wasn't long and I was back up on the fence, wondering if miracles were mere coincidence, trying to break away from what my papa said and what my mama thinks, and keep listening instead to my own instincts. But then one quiet night I found myself in prayer, saying, "Okay, God, I think that you are there, but do you care?" And God appeared everywhere, people smiling and people sharing, people loving and people caring for each other, people baring their hearts to one another. That's all I ever needed to see, for God to be real to me. Now I see that God is not what I thought it was before, some old dude up in the sky who is always keeping score. I don't have to pass the test, 'cause I am already blessed. I just listen to my heart and I let God do the rest. Everywhere God appears, God is here, and everywhere, everywhere God is here, God is here, and everywhere, everywhere God appears, God is here, and everywhere, everywhere God appears, God is here, and everywhere. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you being here. And I will be taking, as I've always mentioned, I will be taking live song requests. Well, not really song requests. I'll be taking your ideas for titles to songs. I will be then writing a song and coming back the following Sunday with the song for you to hear. I won't let you know whose title I picked though, so you're gonna have to come back to check it out and find out. So that's something that I'm in the works on making happen. Love having you here. Big love to all of you. God bless you.